It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
That's correct.
Sunny Hostin just got caught in a verbal crossfire courtesy of Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly. So sharp, it might have needed a UN peacekeeper to mediate. 1 minute she was calmly sipping her tea on The View, and the next, she was scrambling like someone who just got hit with a Wi-Fi outage mid-Zoom call. The exchange? Pure chaos. What unfolded live on air left her visibly rattled, blinking like she'd just seen her internet bill in fine print. This wasn't your typical daytime TV drama. This clash delivered more plot twists than a reality show written by caffeine-fueled interns on a deadline.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro in your wildest imagination. You could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate.
Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly, two personalities famous for never pulling punches, seemed to reach their breaking point with Sunny Hostin's polished confidence. Maher's bone-dry, scorched-earth sarcasm met Kelly's icy, surgical precision, and suddenly Sunny's usually firm stance started wobbling like a half-assembled IKEA stool. The segment didn't feel like a debate. It felt like an academic demolition derby. And while Maher and Kelly rolled in with verbal wrecking balls, Sunny looked like she brought a glitter glue stick to a construction site.
About Whoopi Goldberg, because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no fucking thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid shit on a regular basis. They just happen to coincide. But
let's start with Sunny's favorite party trick, wielding her law degree like a lightsaber forged in the fires of smugness. At this point, her credentials might as well be stamped on her forehead. Former federal prosecutor, legal analyst, and full-time finger wagger. But let's be real. Anytime someone leads with "as a lawyer," you already know what's coming is either painfully obvious, completely off base, or insufferably self-important. Somehow, Sunny manages to hit the trifecta, delivering what feels like a legal TED talk stripped of substance, but overflowing with moral superiority.
Hot mess that they air in the mornings, called The View, had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections, 4 legal notes. Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side, and then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is a pattern with them.
What's truly remarkable is Sunny's uncanny ability to turn virtually any topic, be it the weather, TikTok trends, or even the proper storage temperature for mayonnaise, into a discourse on racial injustice. She could watch a puppy get rescued and still find a way to frame it as a metaphor for systemic oppression. It's like witnessing a live-action version of Twitter. Loud, performative, and seemingly committed to misunderstanding everything on purpose. Even Whoopi, no stranger to fiery hot takes, looked visibly exhausted by her co-host's latest derailment.
Term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left, but don't tell me the left
Or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunny Hostin didn't just face pushback. She got steamrolled in what felt like a philosophical demolition derby. All she walked away with was her signature frown of moral disapproval. There's a difference between having strong opinions and turning every conversation into a sermon from Mount Condescension. And for Sunny, that distinction doesn't seem to exist. She's not participating in dialogue. She's performing in a courtroom drama of her own making, starring as the prosecutor, playing the jury, and cueing her own applause. The catch? Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly don't play by that script. They don't chase applause or rely on performative cues. They bring facts, sharp wit, and razor-edged logic. And just like that, Sunny's polished TED top persona crumbles into a shaky improv routine where the laughs never come. Even when confronted with clear, undeniable points, she doesn't engage, she just gets louder, as if volume alone could pass for insight.
And finally, new rule, stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Maher, seasoned and unshaken, watched Sunny's all-too-familiar routine with the quiet detachment of a professor grading yet another freshman essay titled, "Why I'm Always Right." He didn't interrupt, he didn't need to. Her monologue slowly unraveled under its own weight, each sanctimonious breath dragging her deeper into a pit of buzzwords, canned outrage, and the unmistakable scent of self-congratulation. Then came Megyn Kelly, calm, calculated, and almost surgical in her precision. Without ever raising her voice or leaning on theatrics, she peeled back the layers of Sunny's fox gravitas, revealing what lay beneath. A hollow echo chamber of recycled indignation dressed up as insight.
I had a discussion on The View about world superpowers from the sound of it. That's how they got into it. And Sunny Hostin made some comments about patriotism and America and Black America. It's all in there, Jason. I mean, it's all in there. I'm going to tee it up. It starts with Alyssa Farah, who's supposed to be the Republican commentator. And then you'll hear Sunny jump in. Listen.
If America is not the #1 global power, it's not going to be Denmark. It's going to be communist China, a country that right now the government is imprisoning Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. It is a deeply racist government. It's a human rights violating government. It is a government that if they're the leader of the free world, we are not a free world the way that we are right now.
The notion of patriotism and the notion of America and the American flag has been co-opted by the right as if they are true patriots. But when I listen to Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, he said white supremacy is the biggest domestic threat to this country.
Sunny's entire shtick hinges on one thing: never being challenged. She thrives in monologue, not dialogue, favoring accusations, dramatics, and moral grandstanding like it's a one-woman stage show. But when someone like Megyn Kelly calmly pokes a hole in that carefully inflated balloon, the collapse isn't gradual, it's instant and brutal. What followed wasn't a minor stumble or a slip of the tongue. It was a full-blown ideological faceplant. Because when your whole persona is built on the fragile scaffolding of unchallenged moral superiority, even the softest dissent feels like an earthquake. And this time, that house of cards didn't just tremble. It crumbled in spectacular, cringe-inducing faction.
Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, yay, on January 20th. Of this month. Not everyone's happy about it, and many people would like us to be more focused on the insurrection that he personally unleashed. If you ask them, as we discussed earlier, they think it's as bad as like the Holocaust, and you don't have to take my word for it. Here is Sunny Hostin of
January
The View
6th was an
today.
atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
Yeah, the January 6th is right up there next to the Holocaust and slavery.
Megyn Kelly, whose very presence seems to trigger Sunny Hostin like a fire alarm in a meditation room, has a remarkable knack for provoking reactions with laser consistency. It's almost comedic how Sunny's voice leaps an octave the second Megyn's name enters the conversation. Kelly possesses a rare and apparently controversial talent, the ability to present facts clearly and logically. On The View, that might as well be considered witchcraft. If you dare cite actual data or outline a rational timeline without punctuating it with a dramatic sigh or emotional spiral, you're clearly disrupting the natural order. While Sunny clutches her pearls over yet another vague MSNBC-branded political apocalypse, Megyn calmly slices through the noise, armed with sources, statistics, and the radical act of speaking without shouting. It's a terrifying display of composure and basic literacy, two things that seem to cause visible discomfort at the View's table.
I want you to note the tone they all talk with him. I want you to look at Sunny Hostin's body language and the way they look at him and everything else. Just because he is a lefty who hasn't gone completely bananas, here they are talking about the word woke.
The term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and so
migrate.
why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice. Who's not for that? But words